Come on, you can do your dance in the chair. It's okay. Good morning to both of you.
Morning, James.
Good morning. We're very happy. We're happy
Yes,
we're alive.
that's right. Gotta be, definitely. Especially after St. Patty's Day. Of course, we got Easter coming up. Yes, I'm ready. The
All right.
serious, the serious and rare misunderstood cancer has a primary risk factor that is more prevalent than you might think. I'm going to say HPV, a common virus transmitted by skin-to-skin contact, is the number one risk factor for anal cancer. March is Anal Cancer Awareness Month. Joining us to speak about the importance of talking openly about the risk factors and symptoms of this cancer that can be difficult to talk about are anal cancer specialist Dr. Paul Romaser and Lily Krapel. Thank you so much for joining us, anal cancer survivor and co-founder and executive director of HPV Cancers Alliance. Thank you both. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us, James.
Yes.
Thank you. Doctor, what should we know about anal cancer and its connection to HPV?
Yeah, that's a great question. So 90% of anal cancers are associated with HPV or the human papillomavirus. This is a very common virus that most people who've engaged in sexual intercourse have likely been exposed to or infected with. Normally, our healthy immune system targets and eliminates the HPV virus from our body, and that happens before any precancerous changes can occur. But sometimes the immune system fails. The virus lives on and can lead to cancer years or decades later. And in 2024, what we found is that there's over 10,000 cases of anal cancer diagnosed in the United States, and that the cases are rising. And that's why we're here. We want to raise awareness about this cancer, and we want to make sure that there's no taboo about talking about it so that patients are empowered.
Speaking of empowerment, Lillian, tell us about your cancer journey.
Yeah, so 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with HPV-related anal cancer. I knew I had HPV, in my 20s, 30s, and so on. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't on the pap test. And then I had some symptoms. Thank God I had those symptoms. I had some bleeding, itching, and pain. People think, you could think it's a hemorrhoid. It mimics that. And I went to see my gynecologist, and she said I was okay. And I said, I don't think so. I'm not okay. And I went to the gastroenterologist, and he caught it. I was stage 2 anal cancer. And that's why we're doing the work we're doing, this important work, and partnering with Insight to create awareness.
Now, doctor, what are risk factors and common symptoms of anal cancer?
Absolutely. So risk factors include what we're talking about today, the human papillomavirus or history of infection with it. In addition, we can see that immune compromised states or immune suppressed states can lead to it, things like HIV. In addition, smoking or tobacco use can increase your risk of anal cancer. Receptive anal intercourse can increase it, as well as a history of other HPV-associated cancers, things like head and neck cancer or cervical cancer. And it's important to note because some patients may be at high enough risk where they may benefit from screening. And so I encourage anyone who's worried about that to talk with their physician about it so that they can, find out more. In terms of symptoms or what to talk to your doctor about, I think that's important because many of the symptoms of anal cancer mimic things that happen in everyday life, things like hemorrhoids. So these symptoms include things like pain or itchiness around the anus, bleeding, a mass or a lump in the anus, or a change in your bowel's shape, size, or frequency of how often you go to the bathroom. And these are things that, many people don't talk about. And hey, I get it. I mean, it's not a common dinner conversation, but it's not taboo. These are things that if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, please reach out to your physician. I promise you, they want to know. Either they want to reassure you that everything's okay and help you feel better, or if you have cancer, they want to catch it early so they can get you to the treatment that you need.
Speaking of which, Lillian, did you know you were at risk for anal cancer?
I didn't know. I knew that HPV can cause cancer. I knew about cervical cancer, but I didn't know about anal cancer. So naturally, when I was diagnosed with it, I was blindsided and I couldn't believe it also because I was healthy other than those symptoms that I had. And because this type of cancer and this virus is very much stigmatized, we work every day to reduce that stigma by encouraging people to have open conversations about this and not hide it and really speak about it because that's the only way we're going to bring down the stigma.
Lillian, where can we go to learn more?
Um, James, people can go to analcancer.com. And I also want to say that it's really important that anybody that's going through any type of treatment, that they should have a strong, good relationship with their physician. It's important for their healing and their journey, as I did with Dr. Romaser, who's sitting right beside me. And Dr. Romaser saved my life.
Lillian, one last thing I want to ask you about. Once you found out, what gave you the courage to not just sit back and go through the treatment and think of yourself? What gave you the courage to be the founder and executive director of HPV Cancers Alliance?
You know, James, that's a great question. And what gave me the courage was I was more interested in saving lives than being embarrassed. And I thought, oh, I thought I found something like almost like a fountain of youth, so to speak, that I felt like I need to tell everybody about this because so many people are walking around with HPV and they have no idea. And they have no idea that it can cause cancer, especially for people 50s and up. Because uh, anyway, the bottom line is I couldn't sit back because my butt hurt. No, but the bottom line is that I really thought that I had to do this and I wasn't embarrassed. I didn't care what anybody thought. I knew I had to save lives.
Dr. Roma, sir, Lillian, thank you so much for joining us. I like that. My butt hurt. I like that.
Thank you,
Thank,
James.
thank you again for joining us on Morning Blend. Thank you.